Alex in the Sunlight. I'm Alex and I'm so happy to see you. The purpose of today's video is to find out, gain some insight into what's going on, what's going to happen, what should you expect this January 2020. We've got 3 groups here. Group 1, Smoky Quartz. Group 2, Selenite. Group 3, Celestine. If you've already chosen your pile, it's totally fine, but if you could just humor me and close your eyes, take a deep breath in through the nose, filling the chest and the belly with air. And as you exhale, ask your angels, your spirit guides, your higher self to aid you in choosing the correct pile for you so that when you open your eyes, the one you are drawn to first is the right one. Okay, let's get started. Hey, group number 1, those of you who chose Smoky Quartz. Okay, so January is going to be a continuation of the lessons and the growing that you've been working on thus far. Like, I feel like, towards the end of 2019, you've been on this journey, and in January, it's going to be like, now you're going to realize why. I feel like, Spirit is calling you to remember that you are spirit, that you are a spiritual being. I think some of you guys may be resistant to it. There may be some changes, some big changes that have happened that have made you feel a little bit worse for wear or a little bit sad. And everything is happening to get you to shift some things in your mind and to get you to express who you are on a deeper level, on a truer level. You may have been kind of going along just to get along in the past, and that's not going to work anymore. And in January, you're really going to feel it. The universe is really pushing you to let go of the past. Stop talking to exes. Stop dwelling on things that no longer are in alignment with where you're trying to get to. Definitely take up a meditation practice. It would definitely be beneficial in January. But this is all to bring you to your true essence and to remind you that, like, you are having a human experience, yes, but you ultimately are a very vast, infinite spiritual being that can't be confined by 4 walls or arbitrary rules, archaic ideals. That's not you, right? You are much more than that. You are much more vast. So they're trying to get you to remember that. They're calling out to you. They're like, pay attention, and to get your attention, they may, shake things up a bit, basically, is what I'm feeling. But ultimately, it's an invitation, right? It's an invitation to be your highest and truest self. So there's a lot of spiritual work that's being done and that needs to be done. And so on the outside, that may look tumultuous. But it doesn't even have to be like a huge thing. Like, it doesn't have to, I'm not saying like, oh, January is going to be like, ooh, it's just more so like, if things really get on your nerves or grind your gears, or if you just feel hit with very powerful emotions out of nowhere, these things are trying to break you out of a certain shell and a certain way of being, a certain routine that has been going on for too long, right? And it's good that it's happening in January, right? Because you don't want to enter into a whole new decade holding on to old baggage, heavy old baggage at that, right? And you really owe it to yourself to view your world, to view life in a much different perspective, in a higher perspective, and get back to source, that source energy that permeates every living thing. It's you as well, right? So this is a very warm invitation to remind you that, like, you are so much more powerful than you've been acting like, and you have a much deeper connection to the divine than you've been giving credit for. Just to give you some context with the cards, you've got the 6 of Cups in reverse. So that's what I was saying when I was like, stop talking to exes. Stop dwelling on the past. It's no longer, right? You miss out on genuinely abundant and and loving and joyful aspects of your present day by continuing to harp on and live in the past. If you're so focused on the past, it's like your body is here, but if your mind is elsewhere, you might as well be elsewhere, right? So you're going to be asked to really let go of that. And it just may be that even in January you may look back on the last decade and feel very nostalgic, right? It's a whole new decade. It's January. People are usually very reflective of the past, but also very motivated to create a different kind of a future. In both ways, it is an extreme, right? So what will help you is to just be with what is today. What does today look like? It doesn't matter what yesterday was or what you want tomorrow to be. What does today look like? What can we do today, right? You've got Ishtar, and she represents communion from the Goddess Power Oracle deck. And she's letting you know, like, you have ancestors, you have spirit guides, you have angels that are ready and waiting to communicate with you, and they communicate with you on their own in many different ways that you may not be aware of. If you see numbers, if you see certain animals all of the time, or if you see a rare animal or insect that you're not used to seeing, and it kind of gives you like a pause, those are signs from the universe, letting you know that they're around. If you see a certain color all of the time, they're letting you know that they're around, and they really want you to take initiative and be in more of your own power. Like, they really want to let you know, like, you have much more of a say so in what goes on in your life, right? Life isn't happening to you, right? So if you can connect with them and foster that like spiritual connection, things in the earthly and the material realm, I think, will come much easier to you. And you've got the despair card from the Wild Offering Oracle deck. And so that's what I was saying, is like you might be feeling a little bit sad, or like the nostalgia might be making you feel sad. So what they're saying to you with this card is, I need your divine intercession right now, O great spirit. Lift this darkness from my soul. Free me from this burden. Open me to your highest plan. May I be a peaceful vessel for your love. Right. So this goes hand in hand with like getting more spiritually connected and letting go of the past. If you feel this heaviness, if you feel a weight, release it to the universe. At least try, just say, can you please help me with this? Can you please take this off of me? It's too much for me to bear, right? There's no shame in doing that. Asking for help. They're there. They're waiting for you to do it. And the next card you've got is Heaven's Door from the Oracle of the Angels. So this is that invitation that I was talking about. They're waiting. They've got the door open for you. They're like, come in. It's comfortable in here. We're having a party in your name. You know what I mean? They want to help you to manifest the things that it is that you want. You have to work on your mindset, and you also have to work on how you express yourself and having that confidence to express yourself. The next card you've got is the crown chakra, right? Work on your mind, from the Sacred Geometry Activations deck, and it says, the frequency of the crown chakra, the violet flower of life, supports our spiritual connection to the universe and our ability to transmute negative energy into light. Right? You have the power to make lemonade out of these lemons, whatever that means to you. You know what I mean? You have the power to shift your energy. You have the power to guide your future into much safer territory, much brighter territory, right? If you've experienced pain and everything in the past, like most of us have, that doesn't need to be an indication of your future. You know what I mean? It's definitely in your mindset and how you view yourself and how you view the world. You owe it to yourself to cultivate the spiritual connection and to ease your mind, to educate yourself on how to, right? So if you haven't heard about meditation, or if you've heard about it, you don't really know anything about it, find out, you know what I mean? If you feel a spiritual connection, but it's like in its infancy, or it's kind of like you're not really sure where to go with that, pick up some books, go to like some really cool bookstores and like see what they have on, connecting with the divine, or even just, in your own time, doing things that you love, I find is a really great way to connect with the divine. Because it's like a direct access, right? Doing things that you love is divine in itself. And then you've got the crow here. So the crow is like really letting you know we've got to let go of that stuff that isn't for us anymore. We've got to start speaking our truth. No matter how uncomfortable it gets. And you don't have to be brash, you don't have to be abrasive, but just stop telling white lies and stop, making other people comfortable. It's time to be who you actually are, whether people are comfortable with that or not, right? And righting the wrongs. If you have been living in a way that is deeply untruthful to yourself, now is the time to turn that around in January. Okay? And you guys will have the power to do it, and ask for help. Ask for help. The universe is ready and waiting to help you. Okay? But that's all I've got for you guys, group number 1. Let me know in the comments if it resonated with you. I really hope it did. Like the video, subscribe so we can spend more time together. Follow me on Instagram at Alex in the Sunlight, and consider becoming a patron over on my Patreon page. It's a great way to support the channel, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your energy with me. The magic in me honors the magic in you. Be well. Bye. Hey, group number 2, those of you who chose selenite. All right, so you guys are going to be you're going to be good financially. So don't worry about that. I feel like whatever hard work you've been putting in is definitely paying off. You're going to be very blessed in that way. Abundance and all of that stuff is going to be good. So put those worries aside. That's totally good. What's going to be it's funny, there's going to be this duality where it's like you're really good, financially and like career-wise and everything, and you don't have anything to worry about in that aspect, but you still might be feeling some anxiety over here, because there might be some uncomfortable conversations that need to be had with loved ones, or ways of being that can no longer be going into 2020. So January is going to kind of like set the stage for those conversations to be had, and set the stage for those transformations to take place within you. Because I feel like you guys, you guys might be the ones in the family or in your friend group or whatever situation you are in that is like the together one. Like you guys might be the one people think that they can kind of lean on or like depend on, and things might have gone awry in that situation where you feel like you have to make sure everybody else feels good or comfortable first, and then you look after you, but you're not helping anything by doing that, by enabling. So I feel like you may feel you don't have it in you to stop enabling people or things like that, but you really do, and you have to understand where that's even coming from in the first place, right? If you don't speak up for yourself, or if you let things slide that you really shouldn't, for the sake of like keeping the peace, you're not really keeping any peace. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's because you want to be loved, you don't want to be the bad guy, and you don't want to make waves and things like that. But sometimes it's really necessary, and ask yourself where that is even really coming from, right? Because you don't want to in turn become emotionally manipulative, right? Thinking that people owe you something because you are very generous with them, right? Or because you are lenient with them, right? Truth is going to have to prevail in January. And it's going to be a very healing experience for you, because you're going to realize, like, when I tell the truth, I don't have to do it in an angry way. I don't have to, it doesn't actually have to make any waves. It doesn't actually have to cause a fight. I can just be speaking from the heart, and that will do a lot of good that I wasn't allowing to take place before because I was too scared to let it happen, right? You've got the 10 of Pentacles here, right? So this is letting me know, like I said, you're going to be abundant. Finances is good, career is good, you worked hard, and it's all going to be great. Security, financial stability, and that may make you feel, very like you want to give and everything, and that's totally fine. But what's going to need to happen is, with this Ma'at in reverse, she represents truth. This is about, like I said, speaking those uncomfortable truths, not just enabling people, not letting things slide where it really shouldn't. Because also what I feel is, like, for some of you, you place your upset or your anger or your disappointment in the wrong area because you didn't put it where it actually belonged. So what I mean by that is, like, say you're at work and someone's really inappropriate with you, or angers you in some kind of way, disrespects you in some kind of way, and you don't stick up for yourself. So when you get home, maybe you take it out on your family or your roommates, or your best friends, or whoever, your partner, whoever. You know what I mean? So, like, nobody's perfect, so you could tell yourself you have a really good reason for, like, yelling at your kid or something, you know what I mean? But who you really wanted to yell at is that person at work. That kind of thing, when you don't speak your truth, happens because your upset, it wants to go somewhere, it wants to be released, your truth wants to be spoken. And so if you don't give it that healthy avenue to do it, it's going to find another way out, and conflict can start there, you know what I mean? So really, like, speaking to whom it is that you really want to speak to, you know what I mean? Having those hard conversations with who you really want to have them with, not displacing anger or upset in areas that it doesn't belong. Understanding it doesn't have to always be a fight. It doesn't have to be a fight. It doesn't have to be like anger and clashing. It can literally just be like, this has been on my mind. I need to get it off my mind. I need to speak with you, and you can speak with me. And being open, having open dialogues in January, really going to help. And the next card you got is True Love from the Wild Offering Oracle deck. And so this is letting me know, like, a lot of what you do is, and especially in relationships, is you want to be loved, but you need to love yourself so that you can trust other people will love you regardless of if you sugarcoat everything. You know what I mean? It says, your wholeness and safety lie within, not from a partner, but this sovereignty actually leads to the deepest intimacy for you to stop using others. Let me stand on my own feet, dear Lord, and know true love. Right. So loving yourself gives yourself that kind of security to where you don't have to keep questioning whether or not people are going to love you, because you make a mistake or because you're human, right? You don't have to pretend, right? And the next card you have is Strength. So you may feel like you don't actually have the strength to do this, but you really do. You really do. You have the strength to overcome whatever obstacle heads your way in January, especially when it comes to love, especially when it comes to relationships and being your authentic self. Yes, you do have the strength, okay? And the next card you've got is Gaia, right? So remembering, like, where we all come from in the first place. The frequency of Gaia reminds us that we are infinitely connected to one another, just as we are to our great mother and to the universe that birthed us all, right? We're mirrors for each other. We're not separate. So the thing that you are upset about in somebody else is most likely something within you that you've rejected or that you're upset about in your own, behavior. So sometimes having those conversations alerts us to that, like, oh, I'm annoyed with you for doing X, Y, and Z because I do that, and I really wish I didn't do that. And then you can make steps towards not doing it anymore, right? Towards being the version of you that you actually want to be. Because the last card you've got is Taming the Wind. So, the truth, freedom, liberation, pure, like actual love, that energy can't be held down, can't be held back, and can't be hidden. So, just honor that in January, and realize, like, with these two cards, with the Strength and this here, it's like reminding you that, like, the earthly realm isn't all that there is. Definitely have that connection back with source, right? Back with nature, back with where you really come from, because it can put things in perspective too. The things that we find so huge and insurmountable are actually quite small compared to the vast universe we reside in. You know what I mean? So have some reverence for yourself and for the universe, and for others, and try to see, like, the divinity in others as well as yourself. Okay? But it's going to be a good month. Just you got this. All right? But that's all I've got for you guys. Group number 2, I really hope the reading resonated with you. Let me know in the comments down below if it did. Like this video, subscribe so we can spend more time together. Follow me on Instagram at Alex in the Sunlight. Consider becoming a patron over on my Patreon page to support this channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your energy with me. The magic in me honors the magic in you. Be well. Bye. Hey, group number 3, those of you who chose Celestine. Okay, so January is definitely going to be about this journey that you guys have probably already begun. In January, it's going to get very deeply emotional and just like a very transformative time. You're asking questions that you want answers to, and I feel like you'll get those answers, but it's not going to come from conventional ways. You're thinking differently, you're feeling differently. There's like this adjustment period you're going through where you aren't what you were, but you haven't yet become what you will be. And so you're kind of receiving all of these downloads and not really knowing what to make of it. And I feel like you're like really tapping into this connection that you have with the divine, but you're also kind of confused by that, and you're just like, I feel like water will definitely be a huge theme for you in January. So drink lots of water, pay attention to water. If you can be by the water, that would be awesome. If not, taking some baths with some salts and some candles, having some alone time will be very beneficial for you, especially when you're going through a very deeply, like, spiritually transformative time, and having all of these downloads, and going through the motions of, like, realizing what was and entering into what is and what will be. The first card you've got is the Moon reversed. So, you guys might feel a little bit jarred by this, might be a little bit scared, like, oh, I've never had such vivid dreams before. I've never really, had such, like, intuitive downloads from the universe before. But there's no need to be afraid. It's okay if you are scared, but there's no need to be scared. You're protected. You're okay. You're just kind of leveling up in a way. And there's lots of things that are getting released from the past. And like I said, your dreams might be a little bit more vivid. You might be even predicting some things, and you might receive premonitions through your dreams, and just needing to decipher that, right? Because it's probably not going to look very clear cut in your dream. It might be like lots of symbolism, lots of stuff you have to decipher, but that's the fun of it too, right? So go with it. Don't be scared, and don't fight it, right? Don't try to bury your emotions or anything like that. Really be present with them so that they can actually be released. Because you thinking that you can stuff them down and that'll make it better will not. They will just come back with a vengeance, and it'll be much more you know jarring than it was the first time. So really be present with your emotions. Let yourself feel how you're going to feel. Don't try to force yourself through this journey all quickly. Like, just take it one day at a time. The next card you've got is Mama Kocha. She represents water. So like I said, water is going to be a huge theme for you. And what water is going to teach you in January is about the ebbs and flows of life, and how you can kind of, like I said, you might be receiving predictions and premonitions, and it might come to you through nature, through just observing nature and the cycles in nature and the cycles in water, right? If water becomes frozen, what's the natural next thing cycle it goes through? Melting, right? If you are in autumn, you can be sure the leaves will turn, right? And then what happens in winter? They fall. And then you know that they will come back because springtime will, right? So I feel like you guys are going to be more aware of these subtle things that happen all around us all the time that we just kind of ignore or take for granted. You'll be more aware of it. Like, you're coming into this more aware space, I feel like. And the next card you've got is clarity. So like I said, when you guys are going to be asking questions that you really want answers to, the answers are within you. So you will receive clarity, but it'll be from your own practice of meditation, divination, seeking guidance from nature, from, the universe. But the card says, let me trust my deepest instincts in all ways, especially when matters are unclear. May my own holy intuition always guide the way. Yeah, you guys are going to be like the seer in January. You're going to be your own wayfinder. Like, your emotions, the way you express yourself, the way that you're feeling, like, they're going to be guiding you. It's going to be guiding you towards where you want to go. And I know you guys have some dreams. You have some goals that you want to achieve next year. In January, you're going to need to really cultivate faith in those dreams and believe in those dreams, because they are absolutely going to come true. You just have to believe that they will, right? Like fairies, right? Clap if you believe in fairies. You know what I mean? Like, make sure that you are your own cheerleader in January, because you're going to be receiving all these downloads and elevating to this higher level. The people around you may not understand. They don't need to, okay? They don't need to. You just need to, all right? As long as you have that clarity, as long as you are clear about the way forward for you, it doesn't matter what anybody else says. It doesn't matter what obstacles seem like they may be coming up. Like, all of it is leading you to where you want to go, so go with it. Don't let anybody tell you that your dreams are invalid, all right? Or that they won't come true, or that they're too unrealistic. It's not a thing, okay? Great things are going to happen. The next card you've got is Merkaba, and it says, the frequency of Merkaba supports our ability to use our consciousness to traverse into other layers of reality and dimensions. It activates our access to our Akashic inheritance as well, merging the totality of our experiences into our present to serve our highest purpose. Right? You guys are going to be on this very transformative journey, traversing dimensions. I mean, like, with these dreams that you're going to be having, and these emotions that you're going to be feeling, probably going to be very empathetic in January, and very sympathetic as well. And to me, this is very like Piscean energy, or like Cancer energy. If you guys are Pisces, like, just feeling every feeling all at once, you know what I mean? And like kind of that, like, propelling you forward and propelling you through the the boundaries and the limitations that we set on ourselves here on earth. I feel like that's not gonna mean the same things to you. You're not gonna have the same limitations on your mind and your imagination that you once did. And the last card you've pulled is a spiral. So I really feel like you guys are going to have these moments, or maybe one moment, where you do realize, like, your unique place in the universe, your unique fabric in the tapestry of life, and how, your dreams weave into the collective dream, and how, you're needed, and how we are all needed and all connected, and you're transforming. You're not how you were, you're leveling up. You know what I mean? So it's really beautiful energy to go into a new decade with, just being this very new and much more wise person. It may not feel that way sometimes because there will be a lot of emotion, but honestly, that is what's happening. So really go with it and don't be scared, okay? You're definitely safe. But that's all I've got for you guys, group number 3. I really hope the reading resonated with you. Let me know in the comments down below if it did. Like this video, subscribe so we can spend more time together. Follow me on Instagram at Alex in the Sunlight. Consider becoming a patron over on my Patreon page. It's a really great way to support this channel, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your energy with me. The magic in me honors the magic in you. Be well. Bye.